Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
More schools and groups are urging the Senate to proceed with the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte.
DSWD confirms that the woman seen crawling out of a drainage canal admitted to occasional drug use.
Half of Filipino families rated themselves poor in the latest social weather station survey.
Scattered rains are expected over Ilocos region, Abra and Benguet due to the LPA according to Pag-asa.
First in the news, more academic institutions and groups pressed the Senate to move forward with the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Here's the report.
Several universities have joined calls urging the Senate to proceed with the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. These include the Ateneo Law Schools and the University of Santo Tomas. The Ateneo Law School's deans emphasize that public office is a public trust and that accountability cannot and should not be overridden by obfuscating technicalities. They added that faithful obedience to the constitutional mandates is requisite and mandatory, hence not discretionary and optional. The deans also called for a fair, impartial, and speedy disposition of the case. In a social media post, UST also released a statement urging the Senate to proceed with the impeachment trial. It called for respect to the Constitution and fulfillment of duty. For members of the UP College of Law faculty, the premature dismissal of the complaint will undermine the democratic principle of checks and balances. They added that if the impeachment continued, this would uphold the upper chamber's mandate of trust and accountability. The De La Salle University, meanwhile, said any attempts to suppress the impeachment process undermines the pursuit of the truth and the principle that no one is above the law. The Philippine Bar Association, for its part, noted that the Constitution's wording is clear that the Senate should have started the trial once it had received the ratified complaint. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian and Francis Tolentino on Sunday assured the public that the impeachment trial will proceed on June 11. Both Gatchalian and Tolentino agreed that failing to convene Duterte's impeachment court could cause integrity issues for the Senate.
Now, let's discuss that further with Attorney Tony Lavinia, faculty member of the UP College of Law, joining us again this morning. Good morning, Attorney. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Angela. Good morning, Angelo.
Attorney, what do you make of these institutions stepping forward to urge the Senate to proceed with the trial?
I think there's an all-of-nation consensus that proceed forthwith, which is the immediate, in fact, late na,
Yeah.
should have done in March the moment articles were received by the Senate. They should have convened in court kahit mag-recess sila. Kasi hindi naman siya legislative function, the continued pa rin ng process sana.
Right.
At this point, we would have already had at least mga pleadings, mga motions to dismiss, mga motion to admit evidence. And so and then June 2 sana nakapag-trial na sila. I don't know matapos ba nila, but it's okay. Pwede naman siya itawid to the 20th Congress. In any case, they can do that this week, di ba? I don't understand why I have to wait till Wednesday, the last day, when all they really have to do is to convene as an impeachment court.
Yeah, that's right.
Diba? Because admittedly, the first thing they do when they convene as an impeachment court is then to issue summons to Sara Duterte, ask her to reply. Lahat yan pleadings mo muna yan for the first 2 weeks at least, di ba? So, and why will that, I couldn't understand, Senator Cheese, who's our alumnus and also, used to teach with us the UP College, so he knows his law.
Yeah.
So I don't, tweet like when it was received, or even to start the trial earlier this week, it will hindi naman siya sagabal. It will not be an obstacle to legislative work.
Yes, Attorney, initially kasi when surveys came out and yung numbers ni Sara Duterte, VP Sara came up, a lot of people said and pundits were saying biglang bumagal or yung pagdi-decide ng Senate bumagal. with regards to that, maybe it's out of fear because kinakabahan nila kung ano yung public sentiment regarding Sara Duterte. But now, you have a snowballing of pressure from civic society groups and educational groups. Do you think this can shift the narrative, or maybe not force, but persuade a lot of the senators to push through with this?
Yes, yes. But of course, we are calling everyone to converge in the Senate on the next 3 days, but especially on Wednesday. Kasi hindi pa rin online lang, statement lang ito, di ba? That's not enough. You have to show that there are thousands of people outside who will be angry at them if they do not do the right thing, di ba?
Yes.
Alam niyo yung sinabi mo about what you thought you said about Sara Duterte. There's a connection between a trial and conviction.
That's right.
Right? We're not yet at the stage of convicting Sara Duterte. They should not be afraid. Surely there are, for this Congress, 12 senators. We only need 12 senators to proceed with the trial. You don't even need, actually, Senate President Escudero can actually just say, let's impeachment court. No need for the rest to agree. But he said he wants the Senate to agree. That then so be it. That let everyone vote. Let's have the majority vote.
But what do you make of the 19-day timeline proposed by Senator Francis Tolentino, adding that the prosecution panel may trim down the articles of impeachment from 7 to 2 evidences only? What do you make of that po?
This is
Is
all
that doable?
You read, all doable if they want to. No? I mean, so the 7 articles of impeachment can be collapsed. That's the purpose. Into probably 3 distinct ones. The heaviest one is actually the corruption from the use of confidential. That's the one which is most damning for VP Duterte.
Kasi
So yun, I think that they can do an accelerated timeline so that there's political will.
Yeah.
You know, that even with the adjournment of Congress, the impeachment court can go on. Because the impeachment court is not the Senate. Forget that. The impeachment court is the impeachment court, composed of senators.
right.
So that's like the Presidential Electoral Tribunal. The Presidential Electoral Tribunal is not the Supreme Court. It is composed of members of the Supreme Court. The Senate Electoral Tribunal is not the Senate. It's composed of 6 senators and 3 justices of the Supreme Court. The confirmation on the commission on appointments is not the Senate or the House. It is composed of the Senate President and 12 members each of the Senate and the House. So this work can go on even when Congress has adjourned.
Pero nanggagaling po kasi si Senator Tolentino doon sa place niya, sa stand niya na hindi na pwedeng ituloy yung 19th Congress, yung impeachment trial sa 20th Congress. Kaya daw po, ito yung pinopropose niyang timeline na gawin na yung impeachment trial with this 19-day timeline.
That's one possibility if they want to do that. I mean, I don't know if it's possible to do that. And the reality is that when he made that statement, I think the privilege speech dyan, nagkamali siya doon. Diba? Na gusto niya o hindi na pwede tumawid. The majority of constitutional scholars and teachers like me, we believe na pwede siyang itawid. We can cross over to the 20th Congress because this is not legislative work. Legislative work dies when the current session ends, but not other work that can continue on behind this. But that's not really the impeachment court being Senate being a continuing body.
But Attorney, what's better for everyone? No? Do we go with the timeline proposed by Senator Tolentino, or we should just allow it to cross over to the 20th Congress and then the trial should commence?
I think it's probably safer to go to the 20th Congress.
Okay.
Commence in the Congress, and do whatever you can in the 19th Congress na possible. But I think it should probably go over to the 20th Congress.
But with all of the things that are happening right now po, no, yung mga delays dyan sa Senate regarding this impeachment complaint, ano po sa tingin nyo, how does this will affect po yung credibility ng Senado as an institution of credibility? Kasi may mga sinasabi nga po, like si Senator Gatchalian, sabi niya baka mamaya tuluyan na nga magsabi yung ibang tao tulad before, na i-abolish na nga yung sa Senate because of what they're doing right now.
Exactly. Alam mo, I'm a historian of the Senate. I've studied the Senate for pre-martial law and post-martial law. Its most glorious moment was when the Senate voted no to the ratification of the U.S. military bases agreement that led to the expulsion from the military bases in Clark and Subic. Glorious moment yun. There were thousands of people outside the Senate always. Yan kailangan natin gawin in these next few days, and when the 20th Congress begin, and when the voting for conviction will happen. Kailangan yun. Its worst moment of the Senate, its most inglorious moment was EDSA 2, right? What was led to EDSA 2 when they a majority refused to open very basic lang, evidence. This issue now is about evidence. Diba? Ang sabi namin sa UP College of Law statement na dinraft ng Constitutional Department led actually by our brilliant young professor, Paulo Tomase. This is the right of the people to accountability. Diba? And the Senate must give duty, and they must do that duty.
Yes, that's
It's the right to speedy trial of VP Duterte, but also the right to speedy trial of the people for accountability.
Right.
So if they do not live up to that, diba? Then surely there must be 12 men and women in the 19th Congress of the Senate that have the integrity to do their duty under the Constitution. And in the next Senate, 13. And then later on, of course, 16 for conviction or acquittal. If the evidence is there.
That's right.
But we need the evidence to be presented. Yun ang kailangan natin mangyari. We need the evidence to be presented.
Okay, Attorney, finally, no matter what happens, a lot are saying that definitely baka may pumunta sa Supreme Court. Number one, it benefits everyone daw kasi to establish a precedent. Number two, whether the question of crossover or not, or the question of forthwith, do you think somebody will go to the Supreme Court and to put an end to all these issues?
I think so. Almost sure yan. Either way. Diba? Either way. But I think we're pretty confident sa legal argument namin. See, the author of the constitutional provision, Article 11 on public accountability, and the author that put the word forthwith.
That's right.
My fellow professor, graduate school of law, that also issued a very strong statement on this. Si Justice Adolf Ascuna, retired justice. Sabi niya, immediately, agad-agad.
Oo, siya nga daw sumulat nun eh.
Sumulat, agad-agad ang ibig sabihin nun.
Pero aside from that po, do you think there are other reforms, if any, na nakikita niyo po pwedeng gawin pa to avoid in the future itong mga politically motivated delays para po dun sa mga susunod pang mga impeachment trials in the future?
Well, para sa akin kasi dapat nilagay nila sa rules nila automatic. Automatic sila once the articles of impeachment are delivered to them. Diba? Kasi obviously, hindi enough yung forthwith. Kaya automatic. Or pwedeng the next day, ilagay nila as an interpretation of forthwith.
Baka...
Because it's avoid what start if the Senate, especially Senate President Escudero, understood that this is not about conviction or acquittal. This is simply about, do we allow
Yeah.
to be presented? And why can't we allow evidence to be presented?
That's right.
And to think nga, nung February pa ito na ipasa sa kanila, hindi pa na ipasa sa Committee on Rules, attorney. Di ba, ganun katagal. Alright, with that, medyo hindi natin naririnig na si attorney. With that, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, attorney Tony Lavinia, faculty member of the UP College of Law. Magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Alright, progressive groups are holding a protest urging the Senate to proceed with the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. For the latest, we have mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Arles.
Magandang umaga sa inyo, Angela at Diego. No? Ngayon ay nagsimula na ang programa dito sa Senate Gate. Yan kasi ay matapos ang economical gathering and mass march ng iba't ibang mga progresibong grupo para ipanawagan ang kagyat na pagsisimula ng impeachment trial dahil daw paulit-ulit na ang delay na alam nyo na nangyayari daw sa loob ng Senado. Ito daw ay nakakababa ng kredibilidad ng mga iniluklok ng taong bayan at hindi raw tama ito, no? Hindi ito sang-ayon sa konstitusyon kung paulit-ulit lamang ito na maaantala, no? Dapat daw kasi June 2 magsisimula na ang impeachment pero naging June 11. At ngayon ay may usap-usapan pa raw na baka hindi na tumuwid ng 20th Congress. Kaya daw para sa kanila, mahalaga na idaos itong pagsasama-sama na ito, ang pagtitipon-tipon para ipanawagan o isalamin ang pulso ng taong bayan. Dito actually sa kabila natin, no, sa kabilang kalsada, Angela at Diego, dyan na sama-sama na nagtitipon-tipon ang iba't ibang mga progresibong grupo. Medyo maayos naman ang lagay ng trapiko dito. Kasama natin ang ilang mga kapulisan at MMDA at inaasahan na magpapatuloy ito hanggang pagkatapos pa ng pananghalian.
Let's curious lang kasi kami, no? Sino-sino talaga? Alam natin madaming grupo yan, but sino ba yung mga major groups na nandyan? Makikita mo ba? Can you show us sa camera or malayo sa'yo yung mga nagrarally?
Nasa kabilang kalsada kasi
Okay.
sila, Diego, no? Pero kaya nating ibigay yung mga pangalan. Kasama dyan, ito ay organized ng Tindig Pilipinas. Kasama dito sa pagkilos na ito ay ang Akbayan at Akbayan Youth, gayon din ang Atom at ilang samahan ng mga maralita at samahan ng mga kababaihan. Sa ngayon, ang tansya nila ay aabot sa 3 to 5,000 na mga kasama nila ang nakilahok sa protesta na ito.
More or less, Arles, how many days do we expect this? At saka ano ba yung message nila? Conviction or basta magpunta sa trial yung impeachment?
Actually, Diego, ito ay unang araw pa lamang ng tatlo, no? Kung ngayon ang economical People's March, gathering and People's March na ito ay unang araw pa lang, bukas naman ay magkakaroon ng People's Vigil. Dito rin sa harap mismo ng gate ng Senado, alas 5 ng umaga hanggang alas 9. At sa Miyerkules, ayon sa mga bulong-bulungan, kaninang kilos protesta, ito daw ang magiging pinakamalaki dahil ito daw ay tatawagin na Day of Action for Truth and Accountability. Kasi daw dapat simulan na ito, no, pagulungin na ang impeachment para hindi na ma-curious, ma-confuse o mahati pa ang taong bayan kung convicted nga ba talaga o hindi si VP Sara.
Meron ba tayo nababalitaan dyan, Arles, sa mga known personalities na maaaring umattend ng protesta nila ngayong araw?
Medyo naputol, Angela.
Arles, meron ba tayong mga nababalitaan dyan na mga known personalities na pupunta dyan ngayong araw para suportahan itong protesta na ito?
Ilan daw sana sa mga personalidad na kasama natin ngayon ay ang mga representante ng ML Party List at Akbayan Youth. Pero daw kasi magkakaroon ng session, may mga importanteng meeting, kaya hindi raw muna sila makakasama ngayon. Pero sa mga paparating pang araw ay inaasahan ang kanilang presensya dito.
Arles, curious lang din ako, no, bakit nasa kabilang kalsada yung mga nagpo-protesta at ikaw nandiyan dyan? Meron ba silang ipinagbabawal na mga pupwestuhan ng media? Or can you tell us more about it?
Ngayon kasi ay meron silang in-install na van doon sa kabilang kalsada. Doon nila talagang idaraos ang programa. Hindi raw sila maaaring dumiretso dito dahil makakaharang nga, no, at baka magkaroon ng girian sa pagitan ng mga pulisya dahil meron din ditong mangilan-ngilan, no, na pulisya na nakadestino para maiwasan ang hindi pagkakasundo o ang girian sa pagitan ng mga sibilyan at ng mga pulis.
So
Pwede tayong pumunta doon, Angela, pero hindi lang natin masisiguro kung kakayanin ng internet dahil maraming tao doon at kaagaw natin sa signal. Pero kung kakayanin naman natin.
Pero Arles, specifically, you're at the main gate of the Senate, no? Para malinaw?
Yes, yes. Nandito tayo mismo sa harapan ng Senado. Ito, no, Diego,
yes.
ayan ang Senado. At ito mismo, sa may likuran lamang natin,
Ah,
ang
yes,
mga
yes. I know that
grupo
street. Oo.
na nagsasagawa ng kanilang kilos protesta.
Is this going to be a one-time thing para dito sa mga progresibo? O para mas malinaw ulit tayo ano, sa ating mga kababayan. Ilang araw sila dyan at kung hindi pa magsimula yung impeachment trial, are they also planning to proceed hanggang magsimula ang impeachment trial?
Sa ngayon daw, ang kanilang focus muna, Angela, ay itong 3 araw no, na kanilang panawagan. Hindi na raw kasi dapat magpatumpik-tumpik pa yung mga senador. No? Kasama sa mga pinakaginigisa dito sa kanilang mga panawagan ay si Senate President Chis Escudero kasi parang patumpik-tumpik daw. Ano daw ba talaga ang nag-hold back dito kay Senate President Chis Escudero? Simulan na raw at wag nang patagalin. Patungkol sa ibang mga aksyon o mga pagpo-file sa Supreme Court, ayan ay wala pa silang kumpirmasyon pero inaasahan na itong pagtitipon daw na ito ay makakapagtawag pa ng mas maraming mga tao para simulan na ang impeachment trial agad-agad.
Sige, mamaya subukan ka namin balikan ulit, Arles, ano, para dun ka mismo sa may event at baka meron tayo may makausap dun tungkol nga dyan sa kanilang ginagawang protesta. Okay? Alright, maraming salamat sa iyong oras sa mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Now, Senator-elect Tito Soto criticized the delay in acting on the impeachment articles against Vice President Sara Duterte, which the Senate received on February 5. Soto said Senate President Chis Escudero should not have unilaterally withheld the referral and should have immediately endorsed the articles to the Committee on Rules. He warned that the delay created confusion and disrupted the expected flow of proceedings. Soto also called for a caucus to properly address the issue and allow the Senate to decide collectively.
The Senate President is just the presiding officer. He's not the Senate. Let the Senate decide. It should be a caucus. There should be a meeting of the Committee on Rules and discuss it. Are we going to constitute ourselves into a impeachment court? Di ba? O nag-hearing ba tayo? Nakapag-hearing sila ng kung ano-ano eh. Di ba? During the break eh.
Well, I agree with that, no? Kasi as of this time, ang unang pinapakita pa rin talaga ni Senate President Chis Escudero pagdating sa preparation nila sa impeachment trial, yung kanilang mga robe na susuotin. That's it. Diba? Otherwise, diba, tulad nga ng sinabi ni former or Senator-elect Tito Soto,
no less.
na
Tsaka SP siya dati.
Oo, na dapat talaga collectively yung pagde-decide ng mga senador pagdating sa issue na ito.
May helicopter.
All right, we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News.
Ulitin ko lahat ng ginawa noong nakaraan pinagbotohan. Wala namang nagreklamo. Unawain na natin, ito ay highly politically charged na paksa. Maraming pumapabor sa impeachment, marami ring tumututol dito sa loob mismo ng Senado. Maraming pumapabor kay Vice President Sara, maraming ayaw sa kanya sa loob mismo ng Senado. So asahan na natin magkakaroon ng iba't ibang opinyon kaugnay niyan. Pero anumang opinyon niyan, bilang tagapangulo ng Senado at presiding officer ng plenaryo, kung ako man yung nagkataon nakaupo doon, buong laya akong bibigyan ng sino mang miyembro na magsalita at sabihin kung anong ninanais nila at pagbobotohan ang lahat ng bagay na gagawin namin tulad ng nakaraan. Wala namang pagbabago.
Sir?
Hindi ko sinasabing pagbobotohan para hindi sumunod. Maling tanong yun. That is an unfair question to say the least.
So,
I'm simply stating a fact that everything we do in the Senate, even in the House, is put to a vote.
Sir, may ginawa pong schedule si Senator Tolentino.
Nakita ko nga.
Yung 19, pwedeng matapos in 19 days yung impeachment trial.
Nasagot ko na
Kaya
kanina
ba?
yan. Yan ay isang paksa na dapat pagpasa ng impeachment court kapag na-convene na ang impeachment court. Pangalawa, saan ba nakasulat na objective namin abbreviate o ipadali o padaliin o paikliin ang proseso? Hindi ba ang objective dapat bigyan ng due process ang magkabilang panig na may presentahin ko nilang ebidensya? Pangatlo, hindi ako sang-ayon sa paniniwala niya na hindi tatawid ang impeachment complaint sa susunod na Kongreso. Bagaman ang opinion ko ngayong 19th Congress ay hindi binding sa 20th Congress, ito'y pagpapasahan muli ng 20th Congress kung saan bahagi pa din ako at boboto ko kung sakasakali na ito'y dapat at pwedeng tumawid kung sakasakali.
At saka sir, sinabi po pareho ni Senator Pimentel at ni Senator Risa na kaya in 1 hour tapusin yung convening ng impeachment court.
Oo naman. Oo naman, kasi magsusumpaan lang naman yan eh.
So,
Kayo naman, ngayon pa nga lang, hindi pa kami nag-convene ng impeachment court. Ang dami ng debate. Asahan nyo bago magsimula yan, ang daming gusto magsalita at debate. Hindi namin matatapos. Lahat ng natapos namin itong nagdaang mga araw. Sa katunayan, di ba nung isang linggo, umabot na magtatatlong oras yung debating manifestation lamang kaugnay nito bago pa nga namin magawa yung iba. Klaro naman na lahat gustong magsalita kaugnay nito na gusto ko mabigyan ng panahon at pagkakataon. Tinapos lang nga namin yung trabaho namin kaugnay sa mga hinahabol na panukalang batas. Hindi rin ito ang unang beses na ginawa ito ng Senado, ha? In fact, ginawa ito ng Senado bago mag-adjourn noon ng Oktubre, ni hindi pa nga sinidye. Hindi tinake up ang isang impeachment dahil may mga batas silang ginagawa. Nung taong yon yung budget lamang nga. Hindi pa sinidye adjournment. So, wala kaming hindi sinusunod na president o ginawa ng Senado sa nagdaang panahon.
Pero sir, hindi ba naiwasan sana yung mga debate kung nasimulan na agad yung impeachment process?
Hindi naman kami takot sa debate dahil the Senate, like Congress, like the House, is a deliberative body. That is what we do. We debate, we argue, and then we vote. The Senate should not shirk from that responsibility. Hindi naman dapat kinakatakutan sa isang demokrasya ang malayang debate. Kayo naman, okay lang yon. Bahagi yon ng malusog na demokrasya kung sakasakali.
Pero nangyari sir, kayo na daw yung on trial, hindi na si VP Sara.
Sabi nino,
Senator Alan, and then baging Senator Coco.
that is the burden of leadership, I guess. Bahagi yan sa pasanin, ika nga, ng mga leader o ng leader natin na may mga ganyang klaseng pananaw na isisisi palagi sa namumuno o tagapangulo. Imbis na, kung sakasakali, tingnan ito na pagsunod lamang sa tinatalaga ng batas. I accept that responsibility as part of my burden as the leader of the Senate.
So are you not affected, sir, considering na ang daming criticism sa Senate, lalo na ho sa inyo as Senate President?
Again, ang timeline ko ay hindi kasama yon sa social media, kaya payapa ang buhay ko.
Sir, si Senator Soto, parang biniblame kayo sa hold-up ng impeachment trial.
Wala naman tutukan na hold up.
Tapos dapat daw, on the same day na natanggap yung article of impeachment, nirefer sa Committee on Rules.
Alam mo, siguro tulad kayo, hindi ko alam ang ibig sabihin ng bushwhack. Alam ko kung pinunawas ko ng tama. Binushwhack ko daw ang impeachment. Tinignan ko sa diksyonaryo, ibig sabihin ng bushwhack. Attack by surprise from a hidden place. Inatake ko ba ang impeachment? Hindi. Sinunod ko ang batas. Sorpresa ba? Hindi. Dahil lahat ng ginagawa ko, sinasabi ko muna bago ko gawin. Pangatlo, mula sa tagong lugar, bahagi ng trabaho ko bilang tagapangulo ng Senado at bahagi ng 19th Congress na pagpasahan ito sang-ayon sa approval o assent ng aming mga kasamahan. Ang mas tanong ko ay, parang kami yata yung binuswak niya. Ako at ang Senado. Tinira kami at kinampihan ang Kongreso imbis na ang institusyon na kinabilangan niya. Kinampihan ang impeachment. Hindi ko alam kung bakit na pinangungunahan ng Kamara at ni Speaker Romualdez. Imbis na galangin ang kasalukuyang Senado, pinili niyang atakihin ang kasalukuyang Senado. Nalalaman ko na mas matanda at mas malawak ang kanyang karanasan, pero hindi naman siguro rason yun para hindi galangin at maliitin ang kasalukuyang Senado. I look forward to welcoming him in the 20th Congress. But in the meantime, allow Congress to decide, and we haven't even decided yet on these matters because I reiterate my earlier position. all of these matters have to be confirmed and affirmed by the 20th Congress that he will be a part of. Darating yung tamang panahon para pagdebatihan yun sa 20th Congress. Dahil hindi ko sinasabi na lahat ng pagpapasya namin ay binding sa susunod na Kongreso. I've been saying that for the longest time already. Whatever we do needs to be confirmed and affirmed by the 20th Congress. Ganon din ang Kamara, ha? Whatever they did in the 19th Congress, pagtawid ng kasong ito sa susunod na Kongreso, kailangan din ay pwede rin yung pagpasyahan ng susunod na Kongreso. Kaugnay sa kagustuhan nilang ituloy pa ba ito, ayaw na nila. Tulad lamang ng era of impeachment trial. Nagpasya ang mga prosecutors noon sa kalagitnaan ng pagdinig ng trial. Ayaw na namin at nag-walkout sila at hindi na bumalik. Nalala nyo? Pero nangyari ang EDSA, natanggal, so wala nang dahilan pa para bumalik. Pero may kapangyarihan at karapatan sila na gawin yun, lalo na sa pagpasok ng bagong Kongreso. Again, the 19th Congress House, the 19th Congress Senate cannot bind the 20th Congress House and the 20th Congress Senate, especially on this topic na pagtawid ng impeachment.
SP, good morning. Dexter Ganibi po ng Abante Radio.
Yes, sir.
May mga binabanggit, SP, na yung inyong hakbang na itawid sa 20th Congress, ang impeachment ay para sa mapanatili kayo sa pwesto pagiging SP sa susunod na Kongreso dahil maraming mga senador ang gusto din itawid ito sa 20th Congress.
Yung mga papasok pa lang sa 20th Congress ang panay ang sabi ng impeachment at ng kanilang pagtakbo bilang Senate President. Napansin ba niyo itong nakarang 2 linggo? Ang pinag-uusapan ko lang ay mga panukalang batas na nais naming ipasa at ihabol at itong kasalukuyang impeachment. Haharapin ko ang mga katanungan at anumang kailangan gawin kaugnay ng 20th Congress kapag ka natapos na ang kongresong ito. Walang kinalaman anumang pagpapasya namin ngayon. Anumang pagpapasya at posisyon ko ngayon. Sa pagtakbo, hindi ko pagtakbo sa anumang pwesto sa Senado.
Talking about 20th Congress, SP, mayroon daw gentleman's agreement between you and Senator Tito Soto?
Sabi nino?
From the sources from...
Ikaw naman, mahirap naman mag-sources. Sabi nino, dahil wala akong alam na ganyang uri ng kasunduan na usapan, ni hindi kami nagkakausap ni Senator Soto.
Pero sir,
Thank you, sir.
intriga lang ba yun na may ino-offera na daw kayo maging majority leader, maging chairman ng Committee on
Ulitin ko,
Finance?
sa dami ng ginagawa ko sa Senado ngayon na tinahabol na panukalang batas na medyo obvious naman siguro sa inyo dahil sa trabahong ginagawa namin. Sa dami ng mga katanungan kaugnay sa impeachment na in-schedule namin bago matapos ang aming sesyon, lahat yan darating pagkatapos na siguro namin mag-adjourn. Walang sapat na oras para gawin o pagugulan ng panahon yan.
Sir, other issue.
Matagal pa naman. Di ba kayo natatagalan pa?
SP, sir.
July 28 pa magre-resume ang Senado. Ano mang oo o hindi ngayon, pwede magbago bukas makalawa, lalo na pagdating ng isang buwan.
SP, sir, sabi nyo nga pwedeng pagbotohan kung magko-convene kayo o hindi as impeachment court. So paano yung scenario? Ibig sabihin, pag binasa yung articles of impeachment ng mga congressmen on June 11, sasabihin na ninyo na magko-convene kayo sa impeachment court maliban na lang kung may mag-object, ganun ba yun?
Hindi ko
Paano
sasabihin
scenario,
yun.
sir?
Tutuloy-tuloy lang kami, maliban na lang kung may mag-object o mag-motion. Hindi ako maghihintay. Hindi naman ganun yun.
So, ibig sabihin,
Again, watch how we do things because that's exactly how we will do things still with respect to this. Wala namang pagbabago eh. Di ba, pagbukas na pagbukas, roll call, quorum, di ba? Tatawagin ng majority leader, magmo-motion siya, any objection, lahat naman yun, ganun eh. Now, at any point in time, pag may nagsabing objection, sasabihin ko, anong objection mo? Pag sinabi niyang ganyan and I move, may nag-object, magbobotohan. Pag walang nag-object, edi tuloy. Di ba sinasabi ng majority leader, I move that we take up the reference of business. Any objection, hearing none. Edi magre-reference of business kami. At any point in time na may tumayo at gusto mag-deliver ng privilege speech, halimbawa, what is the pleasure? Any objection na mag-privilege speech sa halimbawa, sa gitna ng reference of business? Wala, edi yun ang gagawin namin.
Yan, so si Senator Chis Escudero holding a press conference answering several questions from the media, no?
Yes. Yeah,
about the Senate.
regarding the looming impeachment trial of or against VP Sara Duterte.
And what's interesting to note is yung nabanggit niya about in crossover. He believes that the Congress can, impeachment court can cross over to the next Congress, which is the 20th. And if umabot daw sa botohan, he would vote most likely, sabi niya, in favor of the crossover. But he says, at least may clarity. Ang naging fear ng iba kasi, hindi in-expose si Senator Cheese kung ano yung stance niya about several issues. Now, he clearly said na he believes that the Senate can cross over.
Tsaka na tawag dito, ni-reiterate niya na the Senate, 'di ba, every decision that was made was as a whole, 'di ba, as a Senate. Kasi yun nga yung sinagot niyang tanong from sinabi ng isang reporter regarding Tito Soto na sinasabing dapat hindi lang siya yung nagdedesisyon. So he reiterated na lahat ng ginawa ng Senado during this time ay nag-vote po as a whole yung mga senador. Yun ang kanyang mga sinabi. And also, they also discussed there yung term sharing na napapabalita.
Hindi naman daw totoo.
Yeah.
So, sino daw nagsabi?
Sino? Sino? All right, in other news, the DSWD has expressed confidence in the recovery and reintegration of Rose, the woman seen crawling out of a drainage canal. This despite her admitting to occasional drug use. Here's the report.
The Social Welfare Department confirmed that Rose, the woman seen crawling out of a drainage canal in Makati, admitted to occasional drug use during interviews with social workers under its Pag-abot program. The DSWD said the disclosure is covered by client social worker confidentiality and is being used solely for her case management and rehabilitation planning. Program Director Marilyn Moral said Rose will undergo rehabilitation, with social workers guiding her and her partner toward reintegration into the community. DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian expressed confidence in Rose's recovery, saying social workers are there not just to give aid, but to restore dignity and hope. Rose was given 80,000 pesos in livelihood assistance after she went viral on social media. The DSWD said she would also undergo a seminar on financial literacy so she can manage her earnings. Netizens have been posting jokes about receiving the same amount of assistance if they are also caught on photos or videos getting out of a drainage hole. The agency, however, defended its move, saying that other street dwellers are also being assisted. It said some of those who have sought financial assistance have gone back to their home provinces to start new businesses.
In other news, Defense Secretary Gibo Chodoro admitted that on the very first day of the recently concluded Shangri-la dialogue in Singapore, he already noticed the presence of what he described as Chinese propagandists hovering around. Here's the report.
To our Chinese interlocutors, I shall address you collectively. And thank you for the propaganda spills disguised as questions.
After Defense Secretary Gibo Chodoro called out what he described as propagandalist questions from a Chinese official at the Shangri-la dialogue, he revealed that even on the first day of the forum, he noticed a group claiming to be Chinese journalists constantly tailing them.
Doon sa lobby ng hotel, meron silang isang control officer. Tapos, doon sila nagkukumpulan. Tapos kakalat uli sila. Tapos babalik sila doon. Kami lang ni General Bronner ang tinarget sa lahat ng mga delegado sa mahigit 60 countries.
These individuals repeatedly asked questions focused on the possibility of a proxy war erupting in Asia.
Nung ini-interview na nila, hindi na daw marunong mag-English. Pag may mga meeting ako, kasi sunod-sunod, sagaran talaga yung meeting at saka interview. So minsan sa lobby na lang. Hindi naman sila lumalapit, pero binivideo ko. Alam nila siguro ang kalalabasan ng diskusyon dahil malaya yung diskusyon na hindi pabor sa China.
When Chodoro finally had the chance to address some Chinese officials directly, he explained to them the importance of trust among neighboring countries. He pointed out that in 1995, the Philippines trusted China when it said that Mischief Reef would only be used temporarily by fishermen for shelter. However, China later turned the area, rightfully belonging to the Philippines, into a highly militarized zone.
China says that it has peaceful intentions. Why does it continue to deny the Philippines its rightful provenance under international law and UNCLOS.
In the end, Chodoro emphasized just one thing.
None have agreed with China, and none has condemned the Philippines for standing up against China in the face of a threat to its territorial integrity and sovereignty.
For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Don't go away. We're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on the One News.
The Philippine Blockchain Week returns with the theme Decoded, highlighting the country's expanding influence in the global blockchain ecosystem. Scheduled for June 10 to 11 at the SMX Convention Center, Manila, the event explores how blockchain, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity come together to drive innovation. Sessions will showcase how blockchain is transforming fintech, healthcare, and more, demonstrating its role in building trust, boosting efficiency, and strengthening security. PBW 2025 also features immersive experiences in gaming, music, arts, and entertainment, offering exciting and interactive ways to dive into the world of Web3.
And to talk more about this event, we have Jessica Gonzalez, Vice President of Blockchain Council of the Philippines and co-founder of Philippine Blockchain Week. Good morning, Jessica, and welcome to News and Views.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, of course, we had that report about this Blockchain Week, but baka naman you can expound to us or tell us more about the Blockchain Week 2025.
Of course. So, Philippine Blockchain Week is actually putting the Philippines in the map sa ibang bansa because it's really something that we need to talk about. Usually in other countries, it's usually 5 times or 4 times already for blockchain weeks all over the world. But here in the Philippines, it's also our 4th time. So I'm so excited for us to experience more international speakers. And we actually included more interactive place for other people to understand more about blockchain. So we included celebrities, we included hip-hop dancing, and all things that are that people can understand so that they will know what blockchain is all about. So I'm excited for everyone to experience that.
So, Jessica, this is open not only to those who are involved in this industry, but to everyone out there to understand its importance in in the world we live in today.
Yes.
Definitely. We actually even have a press conference recently that included telling people about fish blocks. So even the MSMEs, the fish vendors, the jeepney drivers, they need to understand what blockchain is because in the future, we won't even talk about blockchain. It's just a normal thing, just like the internet.
Yeah.
So every Filipino should understand more about this.
And no one should left behind. Ika nga. But earlier in our report, we mentioned about decoded. So what does the theme decoded rather signify for this year's event?
So Decoded is about simplifying blockchain for everyone. So we're breaking down complex ideas just so they understand more about it. And the real life application, basically, we want to tell them about the Department of Budget, for example, that they're using it in the government, LTO in the future, and every single government entity that we're actually, that we have will be using blockchain in the future. And so we want to decode that into a more simpler version and what is really blockchain, what blockchain is all about. And even the everyday lives we use, it's not just about crypto, it's not just about Web3, so it's a whole lot more. So, yeah.
Yeah, to spark some interest now in the simplest terms possible, what is a blockchain really? And if I were a fish vendor or a small medium enterprise entrepreneur, why would I want to visit or engage in this event?
Definitely. So if you're a fish vendor, for example, or a fish balls vendor or a street vendor, you would want to understand this because it's transparency. Basically, there's no middleman. That's the end all and be all of it. There's no middleman. You do everything directly through the blockchain, meaning it's all in the internet. They can everything, every transaction, every payment, it's all in the internet. So
okay.
no one can fool you, no one can scam you because it's all transparent and efficient. So it's in the blockchain basically.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Oo.
I know. And sobrang interested ako malaman how are they going to bring this down to the important people as well, ano? Like what you've mentioned earlier, Diego. But what should attendees expect to gain from participating in the PBW 2025?
Actually, this is not just a normal conference. It's giving more jobs and opportunities to Filipinos. Honestly, there will be a lot of companies coming from other countries. We have 200 plus speakers, international, flying out just for this, and they're all willing and eager to come into the Philippines and get more talents from the Philippines. So you're gonna have probably jobs, you're going to enjoy, it's fun, there are a lot of entertainment. We're also going to have a fight night, we're going to have an MMA and boxing here.
Wow.
We're gonna connect that to blockchain as well. And so it's just so exciting because the students, we have different agendas for different set of people. For students, for entrepreneurs, for sports, and all the industries that you can think of, they're all here.
Do you have more information you can share with our viewers? How can they participate? How can they join? Do you need to enroll first or reserve seats or register?
Definitely. So you can just go to our website, www.pbw.ph, and you can buy your tickets there. And we're so excited to see you tomorrow. That's actually tomorrow.
Wow.
So.
All right, on that note, good luck on your event. Thank you so much. That was Cheska Gonzalez, Vice President of Blockchain Council of the Philippines and the co-founder of Philippine Blockchain Week. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, authorities recovered nearly 1 ton of suspected shabu worth 6.8 billion pesos off Pangasinan's coast since June 5. The Philippine Coast Guard deployed high-speed boats and the BRP Cabra along with drone surveillance to find and retrieve floating drug sacks. Local fishermen also played a key role, turning over several sacks they found drifting separately along the coast. Similar packages were also found drifting north in Ilocos Sur. PCG vowed to intensify maritime patrols as efforts continue to track down more possible drug shipments drifting in nearby areas.
In weather, Pag-asa continues to monitor the low-pressure area near Luzon. The LPA was last spotted some 85 kilometers west-northwest of Bacnotan, La Union. The Weather Bureau says it could develop into a tropical depression in the coming days. However, it has been moving away from the Luzon landmass. Scattered rains are expected over Ilocos region, Abra, and Benguet due to the LPA. The southwest monsoon or habagat, meanwhile, will trigger occasional rains over several areas. These include Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, Occidental Mindoro, Palawan, and Antique. Metro Manila and the rest of the country may also experience cloudy skies.
Naisip ko lang baka yung Senado pwede i-integrate yung blockchain sa mga proseso nila.
Paano?
Para maging matanggal yung middleman daw.
Yeah.
Para maging more transparent.
Para no more delays.
No more delays, diba? Kasi
transparent.
sipin mo, fishbowl vendor ka, magamit mo yung blockchain mo.
Well, that's very interesting.
Wala na yung middleman. So it's integrating technology into in local businesses natin.
Yeah. In that way, hindi mahirapan yung mga vendors, diba?
Yeah.
Kasi hindi ganun kataas yung magiging pagbenta nila.
So eliminate those who are not wanted sa sistema ng pagbibusiness nila.
Yung mga opportunists.
So kailangan ng Senado yan.
Right.
All right, happy Monday to everyone. And before we let you go, I'd like to leave everyone with a quote. The only limit to your impact is the size of your vision and the strength of your will. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angelo Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.